Please pay homage to the Buddha. Namo Dasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Dasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Dasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
Now we have some other question again. So the first question: why there is light in the Arupa jhana? Is this correct? Where does the light come from?
Every consciousness which arises depending on meditator's heart pace produces uncountable mind bungkalabas. This is natural. Whether this mind is sensual mind, such as excess concentration or vipassana insight, or five material jhana mind, such as first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, and fourth jhana, or immaterial jhana, such as the base of boundless jhana consciousness, or the base of boundless consciousness jhana, or the base of nothingness jhana, or the base of neither perception nor non-perception jhana. These four types of jhanas, the base of boundless space jhana, the base of boundless consciousness jhana, the base of nothingness jhana, and the base of neither perception nor non-perception jhana. These four types of jhanas are called immaterial jhana, arupa jhana. But usually they produce their rasa in arupa plane, immaterial plane. Because of this reason, they are called arupa jhana, immaterial jhana. Although they usually rise and usually produce their own rasa in immaterial plane, they can also rise in human world. They can also rise in Deva world, or they can also rise in five material world, depending on meditator's heart pace. While they are rising in human world or Deva world or five material Brahma world, that jhana consciousness can produce mind bungkalabas. One jhana consciousness mind movement can produce uncountable mind bungkalabas. If you analyze those kalabas, in each kalaba there are 8 types of materiality. Among 8 types there is kala. That kala is luminous and bright. One kalaba's kala and another kalaba's kala, they rise very closely to each other. Because of this reason, especially around your heart base, there is light of wisdom. But this light of wisdom is spread throughout meditator's body. Again, in those mind bungkalabas, in each mind bungkalaba, there is Uddu temperature, fire element. That temperature also can produce uncountable temperature bungkalabas, not only internally but also externally. When this temperature bungkalabas spread externally around meditator's body, Then there is also the light of wisdom around meditator's body. Do you think Arupa jhana is immaterial jhana? That jhana cannot produce Maibhongkalapa. Do you think? So it will be wrong perception. Although it is usually produce its result in immaterial brain, but when they arise depending on heart-based in human world, deva world, or in fine material world, they can produce Maibhongkalapas. And again, from those Maibhongkalapas, the temperature Bhongkalapas also can arise.
Then the next question. In the samatha meditation, can we go from first to second jhana, second to third jhana, third to fourth jhana, without checking the jhana factors? My meditation teacher said can check the jhana factors after third jhana during the practice of metta jhana. If so, how to do it and what are the important things to pay attention to?
For beginners, they must try to make sure whether this is actually first jhana or not, whether this is actually second jhana or not, whether this is actually third jhana or not. Such type of procedure is for those who are experts, especially when practicing for psychic power or when practicing vipassana, especially in Sankarupaka Jnana stage. While practicing vipassana in Sankarupaka Jnana stage, if they want to contemplate again and again only just fourth jhana dhammas, they can re-establish fourth jhana again and again, and then contemplate fourth jhana dhammas as anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Again, this re-establish fourth jhana, then they can contemplate this fourth jhana again and again, without going back to first jhana, second jhana, and third jhana. They can directly contemplate fourth jhana dhammas for a long time. But at the beginning, they must contemplate first jhana. They must re-establish first jhana, and emerging from first jhana, they must contemplate first jhana dhammas according to jhana mental process as anicca or dukkha or anatta. Then they should re-establish second jhana. Emerging from second jhana, they should contemplate second jhana dhammas according to mental process, and then contemplate them as anicca, dukkha, anatta. Then they should also re-establish third jhana. Emerging from third jhana, they should contemplate third jhana dhammas according to mental process, and then contemplate third jhana dhammas. After that, if they can re-establish, they should re-establish fourth jhana. Emerging from fourth jhana, they should contemplate fourth jhana dhammas according to mental process as anicca, dukkha, or anatta. If they want to contemplate this fourth jhana again and again, it is possible. So, again, for those who are practicing for psychic power or who are practicing actually psychic power, they can repeat only fourth jhana again and again also possible. But you should not compare with those experts. They also can do, and can also do. Oh, then this is for beginners not so good, not accurate. If you do like that, then your jhana also will be not accurate, and then your concentration also will decrease day by day. Then you cannot see thoroughly or mentality and materiality up to the Paramatha stage clearly. In each mind jhana, mind movement, there are different types of mental formations, such as 34 mental formations, or 32 mental formations, or 31 mental formations, etc. Without enough concentration, if you discern those mental formations, you cannot see clearly. This is one problem. In the same way, while discerning materiality also, you may not be able to discern materiality clearly and very, very quickly, because your concentration is not yet deep enough. So please practice according to the systematic way, because you are just beginner. If you jump here and there, then your concentration will decrease. In the same way, while practicing metta meditation, you must also try to make sure whether you had already attained metta jhana or not. Because at that time, nobody bhaga nimitta. For example, taking one meditator as meditation object, you sense metta. You may already attain first jhana, or second jhana, or third jhana, if you can practice systematically. But whether this is actually first jhana or not, how you can differentiate from excess concentration to jhana concentration. So at that time, nobody bhaga nimitta. So because of this reason, whether you had already attained metta first jhana or not, it is not easy. And then whether you had already attained metta second jhana or not, it is also not easy. If you discern jhana padas, or if you check jhana padas without that jhana, whether this is actually that jhana or not, it is not easy for beginners to differentiate. Because of this reason, in every case, even Buddha also reflect jhana padas. So because of this reason, you are not Buddha. So you should not don't care about Buddha's teaching. You are only just beginner. As a beginner, if you don't care Buddha's teaching, this is a great problem for your attainment. This is a great obstacle. So please don't pay without respectful mind to the Buddha's teaching. So you should practice according to Buddha's teaching and according to commentaries explanation. It is safe for you.
So the next question. When we develop loving kindness towards, for example, a respectable person with one of the four phrases, may this good person be free from danger. Repeatedly, we recite this phrase. Do we continue to bear this thought after we have entered the first jhana and so on? If so, is the jhana considered pure?
While practicing metta meditation, taking respectable dear person, you must contemplate at the beginning, may this good person be free from danger. May this good person be free from danger, etc. But metta meditation is a little bit difficult. A little bit difficult means you must create that dear respectable person is, while you are practicing metta meditation, he is not in your presence. He may be somewhere very far away from you. At that time, you must create his or her image in front of you. And then you must focus that face or that whole body, that person's whole body. While focusing, the object is actually your mimic. You create this object. So because of this reason, that object may disappear for beginners frequently. Then you must create again, and then may disappear. Because of this reason, in Medha Karaniya Medha Sutta, there are 500 bhikkhus. Buddha teaches Medha in different way. What is the different way? These 500 bhikkhus, they learn meditation subjects under the guidance of the Buddha directly. They practice samatha and vipassana diligently up to Udiyabhaya Jnana stage. At that time, they went to Himalaya searching for Vassa, rains retreat for 3 months. At that time, they specialized 10 kasinas and 8 attainments. Based on this kasina jhanas, they practice vipassana diligently. But according to traditional way of teaching, there are 4 meditation subjects which are compulsory for every meditator. Number 1, Buddha Nusati, recollection of Buddha's quality. Number 2, Medha, loving kindness meditation. Number 3, Marana Sati or Marana Nusati, recollection of each of death. Number 4, Asubha meditation, formless meditation. While practicing samatha or while practicing vipassana, occasionally meditators might not will become happy. There will be no happy feeling. At that time, that meditator not be able to concentrate well on his or her meditation object. At that time, Buddha encouraged to practice Buddha Gnostic recollection of Buddha's quality. This is one reason. Another reason is there may be some disturbances like yakas may disturb or devas may disturb, etc. To protect such dangers, also Buddha permit to practice Buddha Gnostic meditation. Sometimes the meditator may be fearful while practicing alone in the forest. At that time also Buddha permit to practice Buddha Gnostic meditation, recollection of Buddha's quality meditation. Again, Medha Bhave Dabba Vyavadasa Bhahanaya. While practicing samatha or while practicing vipassana, occasionally ill will or anger may disturb to meditator's mind. At that time, to remove this ill will or anger, the meditator should practice Medha meditation, loving kindness meditation. This loving kindness meditation will remove this ill will or anger. Again, Asubha Bhave Dabba Ragasa Bhahanaya. While practicing samatha or while practicing vipassana, meditators might occasionally some attachments may arise in meditator's mind. Some attachment may visit to meditator's mind. At that time, Asubha Bhave Dabba Ragasa Bhahanaya. To destroy or to remove this attachment, a meditator should practice Asubha meditation, formless meditation. There are 2 types of formless meditation, Asubha meditation, animate and inanimate. Inanimate Asubha meditation is taking a dead body or dead corpse as meditation object, a meditator must contemplate as a rebirth set. But male meditator must take male dead body as meditation object. Female meditator must take female dead body as meditation object when practicing samatha. But when practicing vipassana, it is not necessary to distinguish like that. Vipassana procedure and samatha procedure is not same. Samatha procedure is when practicing samatha asubha for attainment of bhajana, they must take as meditation object only one dead corpse. Female meditator must take female dead corpse as meditation object. Male meditator must take male dead corpse as meditation object, and they should pay attention as rebirth up to the attainment of jhana. When practicing for the attainment of jhana, when they see the dead corpse begin, Padibhaga Nimitta Kauntapa sign. At that time, the dead corpse began, a dead body lying down with a nut food, which he had already eaten and sleeping. So, meaning is that dead corpse at the Padibhaga Nimitta stage began a little bit beautiful, but that the attachment may arise. That attachment is the danger, one type of karmic chanda nivarana, sensual desire, hindrance. So that hindrance will prohibit for the attainment of jhana. Because of this reason, male meditator must take male dead corpse as meditation object. Female meditator must take female dead corpse as meditation object. Then another meditation subject is Marana Sati. Recollection of their own death. But I had to explain how actual Marana Sati you should practice. Actual Marana Sati, Marananusati meditation is you must try the complete the cessation of your both life faculties, materiality, life faculty, and mentality, life faculty, at the dead consciousness, my moment. But for beginners to see such two types of life faculties cessation, not easy, because they did not yet penetrate the Paramattha Dhamma. For such meditators, usually we teach the cessation of Bhuanga mind state, Bhuanga Mando. Roughly, they can see the luminous Bhuanga Mando inside their body. When that is ready, at that consciousness is ready at that time, this Bhuanga Mando also ceases. The cessation of this Bhuanga Mando taken as meditation object, a meditator also can practice Maranasati meditation. Such type of teaching is not directly mentioned in the Pali text, but for beginners we teach like that because metaphorically this Bhuanga Mando, last Bhuanga Mando, luminous bright light inside the heart, is also called Bhuanga Mando according to Sautanta method. Because of this reason, we teach like that. But one day, if they can practice to see materiality, life faculty, and mentality, life faculty, and that also if they again practice Maranasati meditation, it is better. So this Maranasati meditation Buddha teaches to arouse sense of spiritual urgency. For example, tonight, maybe about 8 o'clock, we all will attend together. Then we can destroy future plans. Tomorrow we must do such and such work. Can you destroy these future plans? Because we are sure to die on the 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. this night. Can you destroy future plans? Yes, so because of this reason, I want to disrupt. Please learn. This as Maranasati meditation, then future plans will disappear. Buddha also already understood his disciples' attitude. She has some attitude to disrupt. This Samnera has some attitude to disrupt. This Bhikkhu has some attitude to disrupt. He also understood. Also, to prohibit such intention, Buddha teaches this Maranasati meditation. So because of this reason, these 4 types of meditation subjects. Number 1, Buddha Nusati. Number 2, Metta, loving kindness meditation. Number 3, Asubha, foulness meditation. Number 4, Maranasati, Maranasati, recollection of their own death meditation. These 4 meditation subjects protect the meditator. Because of this reason, they are called protective meditation. Chatura Rakha meditation or Sabhataka meditation. In every case, they are necessary. So these 500 bhikkhus, they also practice these 4 protective meditations, but they do not emphasize a lot. They emphasize 10 kasinas in 8 attainments. Based on these kasina jhanas, they practice vipassana up to Udiyabhya Jnana stage. When they arrived to Himalaya, they saw one forest, not very far away from village, where they can go for alms round. So they choose to stay in that forest, but they was disturbed. When they was disturbed, they go back to the Buddha and ask where they should take water. At that time, Buddha trying to see their nature, maybe survey. Buddha trying survey. But Buddha saw only if they practice in that forest, they will become arhat in this water. So Buddha encouraged to go back there and teaches Medha Sutta, Graniya Medha Sutta. According to Graniya Medha Sutta, they practice Medha meditation. Based on Medha meditation, they should practice vipassana. How to practice, Buddha also teaches them. Previously, their compulsory meditation subject is kasinas. Now Buddha changed Medha meditation as compulsory meditation subject. So, at that time, these bhikkhus, they had already practiced Medha jhana before. Because of this reason, based on kasina, if they again practice Medha meditation, their Medha becomes very powerful. What is the reason? For example, white kasina. That white kasina, 4th jhana, produce such strong, powerful light. With the assistance of the power of that light of water, if you focus meditation objects such as all beings, then this object will not disappear because of the decisive supporting cause of previous white kasina, 4th jhana. White kasina, 4th jhana is decisive supporting cause for the succeeding Medha meditation. Because of the power of the 4th white kasina jhana, a meditator can concentrate well on his meditation object or her meditation object. Maybe in Graniya Medha Sutta, Buddha teaches Sukhino wa khimino hontu sabba saddha bhontu sukhi dada. This is the beginning of Metta Sutta, Metta meditation. So in that case, object is sabba saddha. Sukhino wa khimino hontu sabba saddha bhontu sukhi dada. Sabba saddha, all beings. If meditator must focus on that all beings object, then this object will not disappear because of the power of supporting cause, which is what? Which is the, for example, white kasina, fourth jhana. Any kasina can be decisive supporting cause. Because of this reason, usually we also teach us, if a meditator wants to practice metta meditation, first they should re-establish white kasina fourth jhana or light kasina fourth jhana or any kasina fourth jhana. Imagine from that fourth jhana they should focus one dear and respectable person. At that time, this dear respectable person image will not disappear very quickly. What is the reason? Because the white kasina jhana or light kasina jhana or one kasina fourth jhana can be the decisive supporting cause for the metta meditation. Because of this reason, this meditators metta meditation object such as dear and respectable person will not disappear very quickly. At that time, the meditator can focus on that image, on that object, and sent metta. At that time, whether he had already attained metta jhana or not, he can understand because of previous experience. At that time, he should already check jhana padas. After reviewing jhana padas, if a meditator wants to go to second jhana, at that time, they should put their mind, or according to this question, they should continue to bear this thought in their mind, but don't recite. May this good person be free from danger. May this good person be free from danger, etc. In this way, don't recite. What is the reason? The reason is Vidyaga Vichara Vaji Sankhara. Vidyaga and Vichara can produce Babel action, Babel formation. So, although you make no sound, mentally you recite. This is also one type of Babel action. That reciting produced by Vidyaga Vichara, or the consciousness which is headed by Vidyaga Vichara produce this Babel action. Because of this reason, Vidyaga Vichara will not disappear. Although you had already attained first jhana, while going to second jhana, if you still continue to recite mentally, then you cannot attain second jhana. Because of this Vidyaga Vichara. So at that time, you should bear in your mind this formula or this thought. Only just bear, and then with such intention, you should focus that meditation object only. At that time, whether you had already attained second jhana or not, please check your jhana padas. At that time only you will understand, or I had already attained second jhana or not. Then again, if you want to go to that jhana, in the same way you should bear this formula in your mind only. You should not mentally recite. If you recite, Vidyaga Vichara will come back. Because of this reason, for beginners, they should make sure whether I had already attained first jhana or second jhana or third jhana. Without checking these jhana padas, if they practice only when they arrive, if they check jhana padas when they arrive up to that jhana, it is not so good. It will be not so clear. Maybe If that meditator does not understand about the meaning of Uddaka Vichara, then that meditator may again continue to recite this formula up to that jhana. This is also a great problem. Because of this reason, while practicing metta meditation, you should practice systematically, it is better. But later when you become expert in practicing metta meditation, you can do very, very quickly, no much problem. But for beginners, they should practice systematically and review Janapadas systematically, it is better.
Next question. A meditator who has already practiced the 4 elements meditation, when he redo the Anapanasati meditation, Kalapas always appear. What should he do?
Usually such meditators, we teach especially to descend 32 parts of body both internally and externally. At the time, when descending 32 parts of body both internally and externally, some meditators can see 32 parts of body clearly. At that time, they should continue to descend 32 parts of body both internally and externally at least for 3 or 4 days. Then slowly their mind will become settled down. They will not see Kalapas. However, some meditators, when descending 32 parts of body, all begin Kalapas. At that time, usually we teach them Asubha meditation, taking a fresh dead corpse, because our monastery is close to cemetery. When new dead corpse come, then I teach them, please go there and see this dead corpse. So the object is very gross. Because of this reason, they can concentrate well, and then the dead corpse easily will not become Kalapa. At that time, they should practice this meditation for 2 or 3 days. When dead corpse begin actually rebirth shape, at that time they should practice up to the attainment of jhana. If it is not possible, occasionally I teach them to penetrate the skeleton of that dead corpse. If they can discern skeleton of that corpse, then they should contemplate that skeleton as a repulsiveness. Attention. At that time they can pay attention to this skeleton as a repulsiveness. They should practice up to the attainment of jhana stage. At that time, they should maintain this jhana at least 2 or 3 days or maybe about 1 week. Then slowly their mind will begin used to see concept piñati, solid objects. At that time, usually we teach again to discern 32 parts of body again, both internally and externally. At that time, they may be able to discern 32 parts of body, both internally and externally. This discerning of 32 parts of body, they should also practice at least 2 or 3 days. After that only, usually we teach skeleton meditation as meditation object, and then pay attention as a repulsiveness, taking his or her own skeleton as meditation object. If they practice repulsiveness attention, then they can attain up to jhana. If they pay attention the external skeleton as repulsiveness attention, they may attain up to excess concentration stage. If the skeleton is animate skeleton, but if the skeleton is an animate skeleton, they can attain also jhana. It is possible. After that, they should continue to practice this skeleton meditation. See, taking different persons' skeleton as meditation object. Whenever and wherever they pay attention, they see skeleton and they should pay attention as reversible. Then at that time, the whole world will become full of skeleton. At that time, usually we teach that meditation taking each time in front of one yogi's skeleton, especially the saga, taking the saga as meditation object. They should practice reversiveness attention meditation for a few minutes. When these saga become white, at that time they should pay attention as white. When white object appear as a translucent and bright, for some meditators, full absorption also may arise for a few seconds or few minutes. At that time, they should expand this white kasina sakala up to infinite universe. After that, we teach usually taking this white kasina as meditation object to attain first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, and fourth jhana. Then usually we teach the remaining 10 kasinas up to fourth jhana. After that, we teach immaterial jhanas. Then loving kindness meditation, metta meditation, compassion, karuna meditation, sympathetic joy, mudita meditation, equanimity, upekha meditation. After that, Buddha Nusri, Marana Nusri, Asubha again. And then only usually we teach Vipassana again. But if they want to practice Anapana again, at that time usually we teach Anapana. Some meditators, okay, can practice Anapana at that time. But some meditators, because of previous practice, they see Nimitta as a kalapa. At that time, we teach them, please relax your mind. Don't pay attention to see kalapa, just relax. Some meditators are successful, some are not successful. No problem. They can practice other jhanas. Then based on these jhanas, if they practice Vipassana systematically, one day, depending on their parami, they may realize Nibbana. At that time, if they can re-establish their approach and attainment again and again. If they also already satisfied, at that time, if they go back to Anapana meditation, it is also possible. Usually we teach in different ways.
Now the next question. What are the necessary practices included in the 4 protective meditations? What are the important points of practicing 4 protective meditation? Anything to add?
In ancient time, if they want to practice metta meditation, they practice this metta meditation for a long time. For a long time means how long? Maybe for some meditators they practice, like Venerable Visakha, they practice metta meditation throughout his life up to the attainment of her stage. Venerable Subhuti also specialized this metta meditation up to the arhat stage. But while practicing this metta meditation, loving kindness meditation, if they had practiced other samatha meditation subjects, it is better. But like Venerable Subhuti or like Venerable Visakha, they directly emphasize metta meditation only. This is also possible because they had enough parami to practice metta jhana. Because of this reason, it depends on the meditator's parami and ability If they can practice metta meditation without basic kasina jhanas, if they can already attain metta jhana, it is also okay, good. But kasina is not necessary at that time. But for many meditators, when they are practicing metta meditation directly, at that time they cannot concentrate well on their meditation object. For such meditators, kasina meditation is necessary. While practicing metta meditation, they should not pay attention opposite sex. If they pay attention opposite sex as meditation object, then attachment will arise. This is one type of hindrance. Again, they should also not pay attention dearest ones, very dear ones, such as mother, father, wife, husband, etc. Because worry about this meditation object will appear. This worry also one type of ill will. It will be one type of hindrance. It will disturb to your meditation mind. Then another important thing is dead person. If your mother or your father or your friend pass away, or your wife pass away, or your husband pass away, at that time you always send metta to that dead person. You cannot attain jhana. This story is mentioned in commentary. One day, one Samanera is practicing metta meditation. How long? He practiced metta meditation for a long time. He cannot, for maybe range retreat 3 months. He cannot attain metta jhana. Then his teacher teaches him to check that meditation object, whether that meditation object is still alive or not. When he checked, he takes his teacher, his maybe previous teacher. His previous teacher, Upajjhaya, as meditation object. He sent metta, but he cannot attain jhana. When he checked again whether his Upajjhaya is still alive or not, at that time he understood his Upajjhaya already passed away. So because of this reason, the object is dead body. Then he cannot attain metta jhana. Because of this reason, this metta meditation object must be still alive. The enemy hatred. For beginners, if they focus on hatred person, it is not easy for beginners to attain metta jhana, because frequently anger may arise in meditator's mind. Because of this reason, they should not first pay attention hatred person. After they have already practiced taking dear person, neutral person as meditation object, and then they had already attained jhanas. At that time, if they practice metta meditation taking hatred person as meditation object, it is possible. But in every case, same sex is necessary. If they send opposite sex, then attachment may disturb to meditator's mind. But as a general, Sabhe Saddha, Sabhe Bana, or Sabha Ityo, Sabhe Burisa, all men, all women, it is okay, not only one specific person. These are the necessary practices included in the 4 productive meditations. What are the important points? These are important points. Importance of practicing 4 productive meditation. I had explained.
Next question. Light appears during meditation, but it always maintains at a not very bright stage. What is the reason and how to overcome this?
Concentration is not yet deep enough. Because of the reason, the nimitta or the light of wisdom is not very bright. Another reason is usually such meditators, they practice for a long time. At the time, they frequently investigate their light of wisdom, whether the light of wisdom is very bright or not, or nimitta is very bright or not. Such type of investigating might also one type of hindrance, because this is Dhamma Vichya. When Dhamma Vichya, enlightenment pada, alpha enlightenment pada, and joint Piti enlightenment pada, become excessive, concentration will decrease. When concentration decreases, the light of wisdom also will decrease, cannot bright well. At that time, they should emphasize passaddhi, tranquility, enlightenment pada, samadhi, concentration, enlightenment pada, and upekkha, equanimity, enlightenment pada. These three enlightenment padas are very important to increase concentration, to make the concentration increase, improve. When concentration improves, at that time they should maintain this concentration for a long time. Frequently they should not investigate whether the light of wisdom is very bright or not, whether nimitta is very bright or not, etc. Investigating mind, please reduce investigating mind. If they frequently investigate any samatha, nimitta or the light of wisdom, then it is sure concentration will decrease. When concentration decreases, nimitta also will not become bright. The light of wisdom also not will become bright. Another problem is doubt, vicikiccha, whether it is true, real nimitta or not. Real light of wisdom or not. Maybe this is external light or not. Such type of investigation also not so good. So just focus on your meditation object for deeper and deeper concentration. When concentration becomes deeper and deeper, then all problems will disappear.
To cultivate concentration, one needs to focus on an object for a long period of time. Does this include those meditation objects other than the 40 types of samatha objects taught by Buddha? If so, can one attain jhana using other meditation objects, 8 attainments, and 5 mundane psychic powers?
Do you think is it possible? Do you think? If you think, then you should try to possess Sabhinyutta Jnana, omniscient knowledge. It is better. And then only you can do competition with Buddha's teaching. Because Buddha teaches only 40 samatha meditation subjects for his disciples. So, other than 40 meditation subjects, there are also another meditation subject for the attainment of jhana. It is maybe, we cannot say easily, but it is usually impossible. For example, in one sutta, Buddha teaches Anapana meditation. Only in this Buddha's dispensation, a meditator can practice Anapana well up to 4th jhana. This is mentioned. So even Anapana meditation also not easy to attain jhana outside Buddha's dispensation. But there is one famous story in Hinduism. Rama Krishna Mino. What is Rama Krishna? In Varanasi, there is a famous Hindu temple. In that Hindu temple, Ramakrishna is a worker who must clean the temple and look after the temple. But he practices Anapana meditation. According to their own report, their own idea, he had already attained up to second jhana. One day, Vivekananda, this is one student in Calcutta University. He heard this news, so he went to Varanasi and approached to the Ramakrishna. He also learned under the Ramakrishna how to practice Anapana meditation. According to their own idea, he had also added up to second jhana. This is in ancient time when English governed the whole nearly Asia, including India, Burma, Malaysia, etc. At that day, there was a conference in Chicago in America for about religious practices. That Vivekananda went to that conference, but he was not invited by committee members. So he approached some Asians. At that time, Acharya Dhammapala from Sri Lanka. At that time, he was a famous teacher in Theravada Buddhism. He was invited by that conference. So, for each person, they gave only 10 minutes to talk in that conference. At that time, he approached to the Nagarika Dhammapala. Then Dhammapala gave 5 minutes from his 10 minutes. Within 5 minutes, he influently speaks about his meditation practice. So 1 million American lady offered 10 million to him. So because of that, he re-established Ramakrishna Mission Society in India and throughout Hindu world and all over the world. So it became very famous. Actually, they already said they had already attained second jhana. But according to Buddha's teaching, it is also impossible. Even Anapana. For some meditation subjects are more difficult. But in ancient days, when our Bodhisattva renounced our at that day in India, there are many samatha meditation subjects. Our Bodhisattva also approached to the Alara and Uddaka. They teach to our Bodhisattva. One teacher teaches to our Bodhisattva up to 7th jhana, maybe the base of nothingness jhana. Another teaches to our Bodhisattva up to the base of neither perception nor non-perception jhana. At that time, our Bodhisattva understood this is not the deathless state. So he searched again for deathless state in Uruvela for 6 years because of the unwholesome karma which he had committed to the Kassapa Buddha prohibited to him. He practiced wrong practice for 6 years. After 6 years later, his karma finished. So at that time he go to Majjhima Patipata, the middle part, maybe for 2 or 3 weeks. One day when energy also became very powerful, he had also confidence or enough faith in him. Today I will attain self-enlightened Buddhahood. So he went to the Bodhi tree and sit under the Bodhi tree and practice systematically samatha and vipassana again. Then he had become already self-enlightened Buddha, Sama Sambuddha. So outside Buddha's dispensation, in those days there are also teachers who can teach 8 types of jhana, 8 attainments. But these practices are almost similar to Buddha's teaching of Dinkasina's 8 attainments. But other teachings, except this body meditation subject, we cannot understand whether they are true practices or not. It is not easy to say because we had not yet already studied their practices all. But Buddha teaches only samatha meditation subject. Bodhi samatha meditation subject. Then you should practice this bodhi. It is better. If you want to practice more than bodhi, it will take a long time.
So usually outside Buddha's dispensation, they practice kasina only, not anapana. Outside Buddha's dispensation.
Maybe because in those days there are, for example, clear evidence is Jidda or Kala Devila Isi. Kala Devila Isi is the teacher of Gaisododana. When he began, at that time he take permission from the Gaisododana, he practiced samatha in his Gaisododana's garden, royal garden. Because Gaisododana take permission from this Isi to stay in his royal garden. So he also gave agreement. He practiced samatha there diligently and he already added 5 mundane psychic power. Daytime, usually he visits to Daurinsa to stay there, day quarter time. Night only he came down to human world. So because of this reason, there are many Isis who can practice jhana and who can practice psychic power. So their practice is similar to our Buddha's practice or not. It is not easy to say, but Dinkasinas may be similar to our Buddha's teaching.
For a meditator who has no jhana and for one who has jhana, how should he efficiently cultivate metta, karuna, mudita and upekkha?
If they practice metta, karuna, mudita and upekkha by reciting mentally, this is also they are accumulating Hoswagama. But this Hoswagama, not high class Hoswagama like metta jhana, karuna jhana, mudita jhana and upekkha jhana. But they can accumulate Hoswagama. But within Buddha's dispensation, if they want to practice metta, karuna, mudita and upekkha meditations, they should practice according to Buddha's teaching. It is better. If they get already a day, jhana, it is better. But if they don't want to practice this at that time, what called faith also very weak. Viriya effort also very weak. Mindfulness also very weak. Concentration also very weak. Wisdom also very weak. These 5 faculties are improved, they became power. That power can carry up to the attainment of Nibbana. But when these 5 faculties became very weak, they cannot attain any higher achievement. So because of this reason, if they want to practice metta, karuna, mudita and upekkha, according to Buddha's instruction, if they practice, it is better up to the attainment of different jhana states. For example, I had to explain, if a meditator had already practiced Vaikasina, for example, up to 4th jhana or Laikasina up to 4th jhana, in every sitting they should re-establish this 4th jhana. Imagine from that 4th jhana they should practice metta, Abruta Jana, Karuna, Abruta Jana, Mudita, Abruta Jana. And then they should practice Ubeka. This is system. But if they have no jhana, if they have enough parami like Benariva Subudhi and Benariva Visakha, then they can also practice Medha Abruti, Ademi of jhana. If they had already attained Medha jhana, they can continue to practice Karuna, Mudita and Ubeka. Abruta jhana, it is also possible.
Okay. Now next question. To concentrate for 2 hours or 3 hours, does sayadaw mean entering absorption concentration for 2 or 3 hours? For a meditator whose concentration has not reached to this level yet, what is the level of concentration he needs to achieve before he can proceed to next level?
If the meditator has no enough time, if she or he has many responsibilities for her or for his family, frequently they are ready to go back again. For such meditators, 1 hour also okay with this, but concentration is not so good. One discerning ultimate materiality, one discerning ultimate mentality, they do not see clearly. Some meditators, they can see clearly, but while practicing dependent origination, they have a lot of difficulties because concentration is not yet deep enough. But some meditators, maybe like Sodha Vipassana Yaniga, pure Vipassana vehicles, they have no jhana, but they can practice diligently up to the attainment of Arhat state. Such meditators also possible. So because of this reason, for many months only, we teach us at least 2 or 3 hours only. Occasionally, maybe about 1 hour also. For some meditators maybe okay, but for some meditators maybe not okay. So it depends on their parami and their ability only.
We need to have mindfulness on our meditation object throughout the day. In this case, how to do metta, the common one, if there is a need for us to do so? To do it at the beginning of every sitting? Wait, I also have a thing. We need to have mindfulness on our meditation. Let's say you are doing Anapana. So whole day we have to concentrate on Anapana. But now there's a need, a special reason maybe. We need to do metta for someone. How to do metta? Ordinary metta, not special metta. To do it at the beginning of every sitting?
Maybe if necessary only. If necessary, mind became very lazy, and then they should practice. While practicing Anapana, for example, they may become very lazy, become bored, don't want to practice, they want to disrupt. Then at that time, they should practice Maranasati. Occasionally, while practicing such and such meditation, but they may cannot feel happy feeling. At that time, they should practice Buddha Nusati, recollection of Buddha's quality, etc. So that there may be anger may disrupt, there may at that time they should practice metta meditation. Sometimes attachment may disrupt to their meditation. Other than they should practice Asubha, fullness meditation. So, when necessary, they should practice. But usually, for many meditators, we suggest at the beginning, they should practice Buddha Nutri for a few minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, etc. After that, maybe they can practice as a general metta meditation for few minutes. After that, they should continue to practice their original meditation subject. At least one day, within one sitting, early morning or evening. In this way, we suggest them.
Now the next question. When practicing metta, karuna and mudita using sabbe satta as object, some meditators focus on space. Some meditators focus on knowing the mind of sabbe satta. Some meditators focus on all beings. Can Sayadaw explain which one is correct?
That one is correct. Some meditators focus on all beings as far as they can. Because metta, karuna, mudita's object is beings. If they can focus on beings' object, it is better. But all beings, this is as a general usage only. And all over the world, how many beings are there, we cannot calculate. So not necessary. As far as they can, they must focus on many beings, including animals, hell beings, animals and hell beings, and Vedas, devas, brahmas, human beings, etc.
Now there's a question on 4 elements. I heard that one can use the 4 elements meditation to cure cancer. Is this true? What is the process like?
It depends on their karma only. Some diseases are produced by previous karma. Some are produced because of seva, pain. Or some are produced because of paita, bile. So when the bile cannot work well, at that time also there may be diseases. Inside bile, there are many stones for some persons. At that time their bile cannot work. It is doing well. At that time also there may be disease. For some persons say pain is a lot. Even our Buddha also one day a lot pain. Jivaka, the physician, he want to remove this pain. So at that time, his medicine is very simple. Simple means he prepared lotus flower, what called leaf. One lotus flower petal. He prepared with his medicine and then offer to the Buddha to inhale. To inhale. So at the time Buddha do inhale and then a lot of diarrhea. Because Buddha's body is very subtle, very gentle. Because of the reason he don't want to give gross medicine. Very gentle medicine. Then maybe more than 30 times maybe, I forget. Diarrhea, after diarrhea, he want to inform to the Buddha, please stop. But he forget. So because of this, at that time Buddha also understood his intention. So Buddha, after more than 30 years time, the Buddha stopped to inhale. So because of pain also there may be problems, some problems. So at that time we should search which is the cause. If the cause of disease is karma, as long as karma is still working, then we cannot prohibit. It is not easy. But because of pain, when pain disappears, then it will be cured. Because of the bile, if bile is cured, then it will be finished. So because of this reason, what is the disease? For some meditators, for some persons, maybe because of imbalance of four elements, there may be disease. If it is other than they should try to make balance the four elements only. How they should try to make balance. Sometimes mindful kalabas also can be supporting cause to make the balance. At that time, for example, hardness is very strong, they should emphasize softness. Roughness is very strong, at that time they should emphasize softness, etc. And smoothness. So in this way, if they try opposite characteristics to less oppose another opposite characteristic, then it may be also become normal. So this also possible. But to cure cancer is another way. This is not easy. But it depends on their karma or plan or maybe by. So if they become normal, if karma also finish, then this disease may disappear. But karma is still working up to that moment. It is not easy to cure. There are some teachers who are trying mental healing. Maybe this is also we cannot say exactly it will be okay or not.
Now this is a question on rupa. When practicing rupa kammatthana, can a meditator use the reflection method to practice? That means to program the mind first and then slowly let the kalapas become obvious.
I do not understand well the meaning of this question. But according to Buddha's teaching, number one, Samadhi bhikkhve bhavita samahito bhikkhve bhikkhu yata buddham bhajanati, etc. So first every sitting re-establish samadhi. Especially Buddha emphasized fourth jhana. In every sitting you can re-establish your fourth jhana. After that you can practice systematically four elements meditation. If you practice four elements meditation systematically, you may see your whole body become translucent body, like ice block. At that time, please pay attention, akasa, dhatu, space element in that translucent body, then you can see kalabas. This is system. But for those who had been practiced this system many times, if they pay attention, four elements, very quickly they will see kalabas. For some meditators, if they pay attention, if they had been already practiced any fourth jhana, as soon as they emerge from jhana, if they focus their body before practicing four elements meditation also become kalabas because of previous practice. So beginner who become experts are not easy to say exact meaning. For experts, as soon as they pay attention to their body, they can see kalabas everywhere. And for beginners, not easy, but for experts, it is very easy to see kalabas everywhere. Because of this reason, we cannot say exactly you must do this every day. If they had already seen kalabas, then their duty is to analyze those kalabas, to discern four elements in those kalabas, and to discern derivative materialities. This is their responsibility, to see ultimate materiality. But their sister, I don't know what is program.
Again, the question on dependent origination. When practicing the dependent origination, what are the things that a student needs to be aware of or needs to master? Before practicing the dependent origination, how can one cultivate the wisdom of dependent origination in daily life?
Maybe first they should try to understand the meaning of the dependent origination. Vijja, Vijja, Sankhara, Sankhara, Vijja, Vijnana, Vijnana, Vijja, Namarupa. So they should study thoroughly by learning knowledge first. And they should study the meaning. They must memorize every detail. It is better. If they do not understand anything, if they directly practice dependent origination, it will take long time. Because what are five aggregates, they do not understand clearly. Intent of birth, lingam, movement, how many mental formations are there, what is the object of those mental formations. So we must ask many questions. So it is better if they already understood how to do dependent origination, how to practice to understand the dependent origination by their own direct knowledge. If they had already understood by learning knowledge, while practicing practically to understand the dependent origination by their own direct knowledge, it will be easy. But usually for beginners, in every mind moment which arises according to such to mental process, they must do some five aggregate in detail. It is better. Or it is saying if they jump, it is not good. They have different five aggregates and different characteristics. Because of this reason, if they get discern in detail, it is better. In the same way, for example, while sitting, if they can thoroughly discern five aggregates in birth, lingam, movement, cause and effect, dependent origination, while walking, while standing, or while lying down, also they should do in the same way. It is better. At that time, they will thoroughly understand the dependent origination in every bodily posture. Then while sitting, if they can discern clearly the dependent origination in unconsciousness mind movement, for example, five aggregates, while walking, while standing, while sitting, or while lying down also, they should discern what the relationship between cause and effect at the I consciousness mind moment five aggregates. It is better. If they can do in this way slowly, then they will understand the dependent origination in every bodily posture. But if you want to understand the dependent origination by your own direct knowledge in every bodily posture, you must obey this rule. But you want to understand the dependent origination in every bodily posture, but you do not practice according to this system. You practice only just noting, bending, stretching, going. In this way, if you note in an easy way, then you cannot understand the dependent origination. You cannot understand the meaning of dependent origination in detail.
Then a question on Vipassana. Sayadaw said sometimes we meditate on the internal, sometimes on the external, and sometimes on the internal and external. What are their differences?
For beginners, if they want to contemplate internal, materiality and mentality, usually for beginners we teach to contemplate 62 separately, 42 parts separately. For example, in your Indo, there are 63 types of materiality. You should contemplate these 63 types of materiality as nature. If you satisfy nature, then you should continue to contemplate them as dukkha. If you satisfy, then you should continue to contemplate there as anatta. If you satisfy Indo, then you should continue Yado, Nostro, Dando, Bodido, Mindo, respectively in the same way. Then 42 parts, one by one, in the same way. After that, all together 6 doors and all together 42 parts of body, materialities as a group, you should also contemplate as nature or dukkha or anatta. After that, if you have satisfaction, then you should go to external. In the same way, to contemplate those external materialities as nature or dukkha or anatta in the same way like internally. While contemplating in this way, from nearby internal external 6 doors and 42 parts finish. Then please continue a little bit far away, internal external 6 doors and 42 parts. Then place a little bit far away. In this way, slowly increase the same area of external up to infinite universe. If you had already contemplated all materialities together simultaneously, both internally and externally, at that time only you should continue to contemplate mentalities according to 6-door process. At the beginning, you should discern internal 6-door mental process as nature, dukkha, and anatta. Then nearby external 6-door mental process as nature, dukkha, and anatta. After that, then please increase the same area a little bit. In this way, slowly you should increase external up to infinite universe. But when contemplated in this way, occasionally you should contemplate internal, occasionally you should contemplate external. Only if you contemplate internally, then vipassana insight cannot improve, cannot develop. Only if you contemplate externally, then vipassana insight also cannot develop. You must contemplate then both internally and externally for many times. But for beginners, once a day they should practice internally. Once a day they should practice externally. This is also possible. When they become expert discerning external, slowly from near to very far away, at that time within once a day also they can contemplate internal materiality and mentality, external mentality and materiality within once a day. This is you within once a day. If you can try both, then this is you are contemplating mentality and materiality as nature, dukkha, anatta, both internally and externally. If you can, for beginner stage, you can also do internally once a day or externally once a day, etc. This is also possible. If you begin expert while contemplating these formations as nature, dukkha, anatta, then within once a day also both internally and externally you can do. This is internally and externally both you do simultaneously.
Then the next question on psychic power. What is the purpose of teaching the Abhiññana by the Buddha? Can Abhiññana help in the practice of Samatha and Vipassana? Can Sayadaw please explain in details how each Abhiññana helps in the Samatha and Vipassana practice and vice versa?
While practicing the dependent origination, usually many meditators understand there is past life, there will be future life, etc. But if they practice Abhiññana sex power, they understand their beginning point for the attainment of arhathood. Beginning point is their wish. What is their wish? under the guidance of which Buddha they had already wished to become such and such achievement, etc. They may understand this is also one reason. If they practice divine and psychic power, they can understand the workings of karma very, very vividly and very, very clearly. They can understand the workings of karma not only for themselves, but also they can understand others' workings of karma. This is also one reason. Another reason is, in those days, they emphasize psychic power, especially in time of Buddha. If they can show psychic power, they have a lot faith or a lot of confidence in the Buddha's teaching. Because of this reason also, occasionally Buddha also shows the psychic power, such as doing miracle, to suppress the wrong view of maybe other religions. In Savatthi, one day, Buddha shows twin miracle. After showing twin miracle, psychic power, Buddha went to the Taurisa Deva world to teach Abhidhamma. What is the reason? Many religious teachers, they have a lot brought to their teaching. To suppress their Buddha also occasionally uses this miracle. But this is not attainment. This is not the final achievement. Final achievement in Buddha's dispensation is arhathood. So, to differentiate this attitude also occasionally Buddha teaches psychic powers. But usually when we study many suttas, some meditators, especially in time of Buddha, if they practice 8 attainments and 5 mundane psychic powers, after that if they practice vipassana, their vipassana became very quick and they can understand very, very clearly. They can become arhat within one stroke. So because of such reasons, Buddha also occasionally teaches psychic power. But if a meditator also can practice, and if he or she can control their mind, not to become fortune teller, this is also helpful for higher attainment. But with the intention to become fortune teller, if they practice psychic power, this is very dangerous. Like Venerable Devadatta's psychic power. It is not good. So, for some meditators, maybe I had to explain one lady in this maybe 2011 Forest Refuge Retreat. I had teach White Kasina Abdu 8 attainments, Anambana Abdu 4th jhana. Then I teach her materiality meditation, then mentality meditation. After that, I teach her how to discern dependent origination. But she did not yet satisfied. Although she practiced in every city, Vaikasina up to 4th jhana. After discerning ultimate materiality and mentality, while discerning the dependent origination, she cannot see past ignorance, craving, clinging, original formations and karma potency. She trained for at least more than 1 week. So at the time, I taught to her 10 kasinas, 8 attainments. After that 40 weeks, then I teach her recollection of past life, psychic power, Bhava Nivasa, Nosati Abhinyana. Then I also teach her divine and psychic power, partially, not fully. Partially means she cannot practice 40 ways thoroughly. within one sitting, many rounds. She can repeat 40 words within one sitting 4 or 5 times only. But this is not enough. But there is no enough time to teach her in detail. So because of this, I teach recollection of past lives. At that time, when she is successful, the recollection of past life psychic power, if she discerns dependent origination, within one sentence she can see very, very clearly many past lives. So because of this reason, for some meditators, these psychic powers are also very helpful for clearer understanding of dependent origination as well as for clearer understanding of ultimate materiality and ultimate mentality. Because of such reasons, occasionally for some meditators, Buddha also teaches psychic power. At that time, concentration is very deep. The light of wisdom is very bright. They can see the objects very, very vividly, very, very clearly.
Next question. How many kind of person can discern past lives? What are the differences in their abilities?
It depends on their parami. For example, Benaribe Sariputta and Benaribe Mahamoggallana, they can discern past lives more than one incalculable 100,000 aeons time, up to the time of Anomadasi Buddha. According to Ida Jaka Vaga, among bhikkhunis, Yasodhara is top bhikkhuni who can see past lives many. In the same way, one incalculable 100,000 aeon, she can see clearly. This is mentioned in Ida Jaka Vaga chapter. So she is the top disciple among bhikkhunis who possess great psychic power, Maha Abhignana. But according to her Abhadana, more than 4 incalculable 100,000 aeons, she can discern past lives. So it depends on their ability. Great disciples like Benaribe, Mahakassapa, Benaribe, Ananda, Benaribe, Nirodha, etc. They can discern up to the 100,000 aeons time. Their wish is under the guidance of Padumudra Buddha. Other disciples are not fixed. Some may see many, some may see not many. So this is possibility. But usually it is mentioned as Daityas. Outside Buddha's dispensation, they also possess psychic power. They can see 40 aeons, up to 40 aeons only. What is the reason? They have no wisdom faculty which can see ultimate materiality and ultimate mentality up to the Paramatha. Because they do not understand about Paramatha. Because of this reason, they cannot see clearly more than 40 aeons. But Buddha's disciples, ordinary disciples, usually can see up to the 100,000 aeons, etc. So it is possible.
Can Sayadaw please explain about the different kinds of psychic powers?
If you know, how do you want to do? What do you want to do? Huh? There are 5 mundane psychic powers. Maybe Ubbenivasa, Nosati, Abhignana, recollection of past life. Understanding of past five aggregates also include understanding of five clinging aggregates. Past five clinging aggregates also include under this psychic power. The understanding of the different types of name. What is mother's name? What is father's name, etc. The understanding of different types of sukha, dukkha, different types of food, whether I had to be taken in past like durian or not, etc. So, which type of food I had been taken in this way, they may also understand only. Okay? What is benefit? Not so much beneficial. Understanding of five clinging aggregates is good. This is the object of vipassana. Then divine insight power can understand the workings of karma partially of external beings also. But vipassana insight can understand as a general only, not specifically. But psychic power, divine insight power can understand the being's dependent origination or the workings of karma. Partially. Partially means now one person passed away. When he is contemplating, after that this person go to where he can see. And then, which karma produced to be reborn in such and such good place? Which karma produced to be reborn in such and such woeful state? He can see clearly. This is possibility. But he did not understand many past lives with this divine psychic power. Only just from present to future. It is okay. Then from first past life he can hear, from which past life he can hear, he can also understand partially. This is the power of divine and psychic power. The another psychic power is Deva Soda. Maybe this Yali and this Yali is talking about me. What are they talking? If she want to listen, it is okay. She can hear this sound, present sound. What is benefit? No much benefit. Huh? If she do not know, it is better going to do my own idea. Whether they are saying good or bad, no problem. If you do not hear, it is better you can meditate thoroughly. Divine insight power can hear other sayings, other sounds, etc. Very far away, Deva's sounds also can understand, can hear. Then, Paracheta Vijnana, this psychic power can reach others' mind. Maybe if you become a meditation teacher, whether this student is robot is true or not, you can check. Because you can read meditator's mind. But it is good, it is helpful. Because there are some students who are telling lies. So very dangerous. Then, Adivida Abhinyana. Adivida Abhinyana is playing in the sky, showing different types of wonderful things. This is Adivida Abhinyana. That meditator who possesses Adivida Abhinyana can create different objects. Wonderful objects such as like Penariva, Deva, Dada. So this is also Buddha. Usually for bhikkhus, Buddha does not permit to show this such power, wonderful such power. He permits only data neti. When listening Dhamma, Umangala asked me this question. When listening the Dhamma, other than he want to show hell, then he do data. May listeners can see the hell, etc. Such type of data is okay. Again, if he want to show Deva world, then he can do data. May listeners can see Deva world, etc. Such type of psychic power Buddha also permit. So altogether there are 5 mundane psychic powers. A little bit better is maybe Bobba Nivasa, Diva Chaku, and then reading others' mind, Prachita Vijnana. These 3 are good. Diva Soda and maybe showing different psychic powers. This is not so good. It is a little bit dangerous. Dangerous means for like Penari Bhadivadanda. If they cannot use in a proper way, it is very dangerous. If it can be fortune teller, this is also very dangerous. Today, let us stop here. Sharing merit. Idame Bonya Aswakaya Wahan Hodu Idame Bonya Nibbana Sa Pachayo Hodu Idame Bonya Sabha Sadana Bhajema Tisabe Me Samam Punya Bhaga Labandu Sa